Here's my big review for Output's Substance. Okay, so I got hold of Substance last week, but there's so much to it that I really wanted to give myself a few days to really explore it before doing this review. So I've had a really good chance to run through the product now, see exactly what it does. And at first glance, it's a bass synth for Contact Player with 300 presets and a load of effects for moving and kind of affecting, shifting the sounds around. However, the more I delved into it, the more versatile I found it to be. The main interface here combines 3 sound sources to make one mighty bass tone, so you can choose between different categories of sources, including things like synths, impacts, sub-basses, process guitars and brass, and there's a few more as well. You can then apply other attributes like ADSR, shaping, panning, tuning, EQ, filter, FX, rhythmic movement and arpeggios as well. The interface is well laid out here, and all these parameters are really easy to find, and they're color coded for each of the 3 sound sources. One of the best things about this library is simply the sound. It sounds really fat, weighty and thick. There's not a bad preset here neither, with the macro sliders sensibly assigned. I do need to talk about that macro function. It's not something that's instantly apparent with the library, but almost any combination of parameters can be assigned to the 4 macro sliders on the main page by activating the macro menu and setting the ranges. This is a detailed process if you want to set it up yourself. As I say, the 300 presets already have some really great macros set up, but if you want to do it yourself, the instrument actually helps you out quite considerably. So when you want to edit a parameter's values, it takes you straight to the relevant page and flashes the appropriate button at you, which is pretty amazing. It's not something I've seen any Contact library do in quite this way, so full thumbs up for that. For an instrument potentially incredibly complex, the interface is easy to navigate, and although you'll need to refer to the manual for some of the more advanced options, I think you'll find your way around it within a couple of hours or so. There's just a couple of things I'd like to point out that could be potential improvements, maybe in a version 2 of this library. I found that when choosing the sound sources, the name of the category doesn't pop up until you actually click on it, which can make hunting for a particular sound sources more lengthy than it needs to be. Also, as regular viewers of the Samplecast will know, I'm a big fan of randomization. There's a few randomization functions here within the rhythm and arpeggio section, but nothing for the sound sources. I'd like to hear what some of the presets would sound like with some random sources loaded in. I'd be really itching to create some unusual sounds that I'd never choose myself, so I'd like to see that included next time maybe. I could talk for a really long time about the ins and outs of the editing in this library and how to do this and that. It's not really going to help you until you get your hands on the library, so I'd like to wrap up the conclusion like this. It is really a library for 2 kinds of different people. Substance is fantastic if you're creating dance or electronic, hybrid or trailer music and you need some absolutely killer, deep and aggressive bass sounds straight away. All you have to really do is go ahead and load up the presets and you're pretty much done. If you're likely to want to do any tweaking with those presets, then you've probably already got the functions you need assigned to those 4 macro sliders. As I say, the presets are stellar. The other group of people who are going to love this are those who love deep programming and tinkering around under the hood. Once you've read the manual and experimented with the various windows, rhythms, arpeggios, effects, ADSR and all of that good stuff, you'll find that Substance is deep in more than just its bass tone. The sound shaping possibilities are really wild here, and you could find yourself lost for days. It's a double thumbs up for Output Substance. I really loved it. Thank you so much for watching. That's just a small taste of the Samplecast, a weekly podcast and YouTube show for sample library geeks and plugin enthusiasts. You can find out more information at thesamplecast.com. Don't forget to subscribe.